Seria um problema se os pais chorassem e dissessem aos filhos para largarem o telefone. Os democratas ainda têm medo das garotas malvadas que policiam sua franja distante, mas os pais costumavam dizer a eles que isso é ridículo. O mundo não funciona assim. Não os pais de hoje. Eles dizem: você está certa, querida. Gênero é apenas uma construção social. Por favor, às vezes sua mãe e eu esquecemos qual de nós tem o direito de...
Bill Maher's clash with the woke left is still raging, and this time, he didn't hold back. He ripped into them as spineless cowards, unloading on his own party in a brutal, no-gloves monologue. Maher wasn't angry because Democrats lost to Republicans, he was angry because they folded to wokeness. He torched the DNC, branding it a party built on weakness rather than conviction. If unapologetic, no-filter, anti-woke takedowns are your thing, smash that subscribe button, because we're diving right in.
Tidos neste país e precisamos desesperadamente daquele que ainda concede eleições, não vende o cargo e não quer trocar completamente o Estado de Direito democrático por uma autocracia carimbada. Mas esse partido está tão errado agora e nada simboliza isso mais para mim do que este vídeo.
The DNC is teetering on the edge of collapse, and they have no one to blame but themselves. The numbers don't lie, the party is bleeding support and sliding closer to irrelevance by the day. Why? Because they've traded strength for cowardice, principle for pandering, and vision for empty slogans. Instead of standing firm, they bow to every unhinged demand from the woke mob. They're quick to hurl insults at Donald Trump and manufacture endless scandals, but when it comes to confronting the chaos within their own ranks, they suddenly go quiet. Silent. Spineless. Weak. If they don't change course soon, the Democratic Party won't just continue to decline, it risks becoming politically extinct.
Sei ao certo se esse casal é democrata, só sei que é verdade. Primeiro, o homem está em um show do Coldplay. E embora os republicanos possam gostar do Coldplay, eles não gostam, mas podem. É improvável que esse cara seja um conservador cristão porque ele estava tendo um caso com uma mulher.
Setting aside the occasional jabs he takes at Republicans and Donald Trump, I can say without hesitation that Bill Maher is right on the money. The Democratic Party has wrapped itself in a false sense of moral superiority, acting as though it's above criticism and incapable of wrongdoing. But that high horse has become a prison of its own making. As Maher pointed out, Republicans, love them or hate them, tend to confront their controversies head-on. They own their mistakes, sometimes even double down on them, but they don't hide. The DNC, by contrast, prefers to bury its failures, deflect blame, and act as if nothing ever happened. That isn't strength, it's weakness masquerading as virtue. And the longer Democrats cling to this illusion of moral purity, the further they drift from reality and from voters who see right through the performance.
Sabia que este era um democrata. Você não pode se esconder da câmera do beijo, e não pode se esconder no salão oval. Droga, se ao menos a moça no show do Coldplay tivesse trazido algumas pastas com ela, talvez ela não estivesse em apuros hoje.
Maher's point couldn't be clearer. Democrats need to be bold and stop playing scared. Gretchen Whitmer clearly thought it was safer to keep her White House meeting with Trump quiet, fearing backlash from her own party more than criticism from the opposition. But what happened? The photos leaked, went viral, and she got dragged anyway. So what was the point of hiding? Instead of looking cautious, she looked weak. Now contrast that with how a Republican would have handled the same situation. They would have walked out of that meeting with cameras rolling, shoulders back, and headlines blazing, unapologetic and unfazed by the outrage. That's exactly Maher's argument. Democrats can't win hearts by cowering. You can't inspire voters if you're terrified of your own shadow. And if they don't find some courage soon, they won't keep losing to Republicans, they'll keep losing to their own cowardice.
Parecem ter medo de tudo. Eles ficaram apavorados com máscaras em crianças de 2 anos, que jamais morreriam de CO, e escolas fechadas por tanto tempo. Eles definitivamente...
The real sham wasn't the virus itself, it was how Democrats handled it, and in doing so, revealed their true character. Shutting down schools for months, even as data increasingly showed children weren't at serious risk, was a reckless decision that set an entire generation back. But as damaging as those policies were, the hypocrisy was even worse. They told everyone to mask up, stay home, and obey every mandate, while they slipped off to private parties, upscale dinners, and social gatherings with no masks in sight. That wasn't leadership. It was cowardice dressed up as virtue, rules for the people, freedom for the elites. And when leaders preach one standard but live by another, they forfeit the moral authority to govern.
Sempre teve ideias ruins. São crianças pensando em coisas estúpidas. Mas os pais costumavam dizer a elas que isso era ridículo. O mundo não funciona assim. Não os pais de hoje. Eles dizem: você está certo, querida. Gênero é apenas uma construção social. Aspas. Por favor. Às vezes sua mãe.
Sadly, these misguided ideologies have fully seeped into our media landscape. Turn on the television today and a troubling pattern quickly emerges. Parents are routinely portrayed as bumbling fools, while children are cast as the wise, all-knowing heroes. It isn't subtle, it's deliberate. And the harshest treatment is almost always reserved for fathers. In sitcom after sitcom and movie after movie, dads are depicted as clueless, lazy, or outright irresponsible. The days of fathers being shown as leaders, protectors, or strong role models are long gone. Instead, they're reduced to punchlines, mocked for failing to understand their own families, while their children swoop in with wisdom far beyond their years. This isn't harmless entertainment. It's cultural conditioning designed to erode respect for traditional roles. The message is clear and dangerous: adults are incompetent, children are the authority. That's not storytelling, it's indoctrination.
Sei que ela tem minhas bolas. Quer dizer, não sei se ainda estamos proibindo o TikTok. Isso foi antes de mudarmos a regra nos Estados Unidos para Trump decidir o que é lei. Mas sei que nem seria um problema se os pais se enfurecessem e dissessem aos filhos para largarem o telefone. Os democratas ainda têm medo das garotas malvadas que policiam sua periferia. O congressista de Massachusetts Seth Moulton teve uma pontuação perfeita em questões LGBTQ da campanha pelos direitos humanos. Mas quando ele disse: tenho 2 filhas. Não quero que elas sejam atropeladas em um campo de futebol por um atleta ou ex-atleta. Seu próprio gerente de campanha pediu demissão. E a presidente do Comitê Democrata da cidade de Salem, Liz Brett, acusou Moulton de ser, como se costuma dizer, um cooperador nos tempos nazistas. Sim, acho que a palavra que você está procurando, idiota, é...
Moulton was perfectly acceptable to the woke crowd right up until the moment he dared to question one of their sacred policies. That's when everything changed. Overnight, he went from ally to enemy, a clear reminder of how ruthless the woke machine can be when one of its own steps off script. And that's exactly why so many Democrats stay silent. It's not because they agree, it's because they're afraid the threat of cancellation hangs over everything. And in today's political climate, cancellation isn't just about losing followers or bad press, it's about losing your career, your reputation, and your future. Fear is the fuel that keeps the machine running, and it's working. Plenty of Democrats privately admit there's madness on their own side, but they won't dare say it publicly. In their world, dissent isn't debate, it's heresy. And heretics are swiftly punished.
Princípio liberal, o que costumávamos chamar e ainda chamamos de título 9, de que as mulheres têm chances iguais nos esportes, e agora isso faz com que você seja rotulado de nazista. O motivo pelo qual Gretchen Whitmer parece uma criança brincando de esconde-esconde no salão oval é que ela tem medo da Liz Bratis do mundo, e dos 12 guerreiros da justiça social na internet, e do que eles podem tuitar para seus 7 seguidores. Alissa Slotkin diz que seu partido é fraco e desperto. Ela está certa. As pessoas votam por instinto. Elas conseguem sentir o cheiro do medo a um estado indeciso de distância.
And in the end, that's exactly why they lost the election. They simply couldn't summon the courage to stand up to the woke crowd. Instead of leading with conviction, they bowed to the loudest voices in the room, forgetting that those voices don't represent the majority. The truth is, the woke crowd is a minority, but a radical and hypervocal one, especially online, where outrage spreads faster than facts. They shout, they shame, they bully, and time after time, the Democratic Party bends the knee. And when you let radicals dictate policy, you alienate the very voters you need to win. Ordinary Americans don't want to live under the rule of Twitter activists, yet Democrats keep handing them the steering wheel. Elections aren't won through hashtags, they're won through backbone. And that's exactly what the DNC lacked.
sexo com Stormy Daniels era errado, mas Trump não se escondeu da câmera. Muito pelo contrário, parece que ele disse ao fotógrafo: "Ampla isso para que você possa tirar essas fotos." Ele tem sua foto de ficha criminal pendurada do lado de fora do salão oval. Ele literalmente tem um cara trabalhando para ele chamado Big Balls. É como se Gavin Newsom tivesse um capanga chamado Perf.
Trump has never shied away from his mistakes. Even as the left has tried to weaponize them against him again and again, he doesn't hide or retreat, he pushes forward. They've thrown everything at him, endless investigations, media smear campaigns, and even attempts to sideline him politically by trying to bar him from running for president. Yet through it all, he's still standing, still fighting, and still commanding massive support. Democrats, by contrast, display the opposite instinct. Instead of owning their failures, they bury them. Instead of standing firm under criticism, they cower before the woke mob, terrified of upsetting their own base. That's the difference. One side embraces the fight, the other runs from it. And in politics, weakness isn't excused, it's punished at the ballot box.
Perguntam o tempo todo: por que você nunca teve Hillary ou Bill Clinton? Por que você não teve Cam na última campanha? Aspas. Você acha que não perguntamos? Perguntamos a essas pessoas toda semana. Elas dizem: não, levou 8 anos e uma petição para que Obama fosse eleito. E essas são pessoas, todas pessoas em quem votei. Pense nisso. Elas têm medo de aparecer no programa de um cara que votou.
And here's the irony. The man you didn't vote for, the one you've endlessly criticized, the one you constantly label a dictator, is the very person who invited you to the White House. That single gesture says a lot, not just about Trump, but about how the left truly treats people. Bill Maher has spent years voting for Democrats and often defending their agenda, yet not one of them has deemed him worthy of an invitation or even a serious conversation. They ignore him, dismiss him, and take his loyalty for granted. Meanwhile, the man they vilify extends a hand. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Democrats demand obedience but offer little in return. Trump, cast as the enemy, is the one willing to engage. That alone is political irony at its finest. At the end of the day, Maher's critique exposes a harsh truth: the Democratic Party is crumbling under the weight of its own cowardice. Instead of leading with courage, it bows to the radical fringes of the woke mob, trading strength for submission. It silences its own voices, punishes dissent, and hides behind moral posturing while Republicans charge forward, unafraid of criticism. The hypocrisy during COVID, the failure to confront extremism, and the arrogance of dismissing loyal voices like Maher, all of it adds up to a party that has lost its backbone. Trump, for all his flaws, remains standing because he owns who he is. Until Democrats learn that lesson, they'll keep losing battles they should have won, and that brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.